Soul Garden.
Good day from my smartphone to yours. I'm Lovecasting live from Costa Mesa, California, and it's Quantum Thursday here on Namaste Today. Good morning and Namaste, and welcome to Namaste Today. My name is stepº22. I am a psychic astrologer. I am the Sensei to Sirius Joy. I'm here to stand in my heart and guide in the light. This webisode is for Thursday, October 15th, 2015. And today, the Great Human Walk has reached step 22, Libra. Now, we've been discussing the Libra consciousness, which is fairness, our artistic side, balance, beauty, marriage, partnership, all these beautiful, wonderful things. But today, step 22 is nothing of the sort. Quantum is the key term of the day. That's what step 22 adds to, is quantum energy. And some key terms for quantum would be the color purple. Step 4, the number 4, all right, Aquarius, Uranus, however you want to put it. And the law of attraction is quantum energy. It's all the same vibration. It's the same frequency. It's the same dimension. It's a dimension that basically organizes reality. And it's also today's topic. Today's topic is quantum mechanics. I've been dying to do that. You know how long I've been waiting to say that? So long. Quantum mechanics, another me reality I think that is important in our realities, and that's our quantum mechanics. Now, quantum mechanics basically is law of attraction. This is Aquarius energy. And if you think about it, you can see the unfolding of consciousness. Did you see Plato writing about the law of attraction? Do we see Nathaniel Hawthorne writing about the law of attraction? Do we see Francis Bacon writing about the law of attraction? Do we see any minds in time talking about the law of attraction up until, I don't know when it began. Maybe probably early like 1911, I bet is when it started to kind of break in. And our, astrology would argue that we did not even understand this quantum dimension until we discovered Uranus, the actual planet Uranus. And that's the way astrology believes. Astrology believes that as you discover the planet, the human condition is awakening to that consciousness. Now, I personally believe, going off in quantum directions here on a quantum day, that we're about to discover more planets, and with those planets will be consciousness opening for human beings. So if human beings have the ability to levitate, let's say, it would be from, we'll discover a planet way out there, that'll be the levitation planet, and we figure out levitation, we'll wake up to that. I think that's how it all kind of works out, or bodies or whatnot. Just my quantum theory. Nonetheless, going in quantum mechanics, I want to talk about what step 22 means. And step 22 is all over my clients' charts. I tend to draw in people who have a quantum life. That it means that they're going to put into play the power of the law of attraction in their life. And the 22 is the highest number we get, highest degree we get in quantum mechanics. It adds to a 4. The lowest is 4. The middle is step 13, which adds to a 4. Okay. Now, step 22 is a pretty crazy step. Step 22 is, I think, pretty much where we all aim for. So if we have a good party, we want step 22. If we have a good honeymoon, we want step 22. And through the honeymoon, we want step 22. You know what I mean? Like, step 22 is where you get really emotional, 1, 2, and you connect to another emotional set, another 2. And technically, with those emotions, you are everything. You can just do-si-do. Now, the other thing with 2 is we get lost in the 2s. We get lost in our emotions. We get lost in their emotions. Okay? And as a result, we lose ourselves. So if you wake up in a Vegas hotel naked with a guy named Fred, you probably lost yourself in a quantum moment. Okay, like, and I don't care what led to it. You lost yourself in a quantum moment. And you know, people think, you know, yes, you lose yourself in that person's eyes. You lose yourself, but really, what you're losing yourself in is you're losing touch with yourself. Your feelings, right there. That your feelings maybe need to ground, maybe need some water. You know, and people lose touch with their feelings. So quantum moments are moments where people lose touch. Sometimes it's an act of fate. Sometimes people lose touch and they were paying attention to something at the wrong thing at the wrong time. They say the wrong thing. I think Congressman McCarthy and his statement he made last week was a quantum error. The truth came out by accident. And it was Mercury retrograde, of course. So I think when things go quantum, sometimes it reveals truth, and it's interesting. So in your own life, today, just so you know, the Sun, Mercury, Jupiter, and the Moon for 2 hours will be quantum, which means I belong, law of attract energy will rule the day, which means everything will be electric for where it really belongs. Now, quantum mechanics, the physical science of quantum mechanics, those people are looking for an 11th dimension. And from what I can tell, what they're calling the 11th dimension is what I'm calling quantum energy, or what I'm calling step 4. I don't even have to use the word quantum. I just use that for buzz terms for people to remember. I call it step 4. It's step 4 consciousness, the 4th human dimension. And so I think that we're all on the same page. We're all reaching out. We're all starting to find it. The trick of it is all in the 22 numerology. The first 2 is your feelings. So if you go out today out of touch with your 2, you could lose yourself and find yourself waking up in Vegas. Okay, that's kind of how it works, or whatever. So, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. I'm not saying that's not the case. You go ahead and just, detach from it. But in the 2-2s, really, what we end up doing is taking our 2 out to the market, and we're law of attracting what feels right to us, okay? So that's what's supposed to happen. We're supposed to law of attract, and that's where you will be brought up to another level where you really belong, and that's where you'll be kicked down if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time where you don't belong. And that's also part of the quantum dimension of 4. It's space and time. It's like being in the right place at the right time. A lot of times people in the right place, it's the wrong time. We've also said in many relationships, it's like, oh my God, this would totally work out. The timing is off, therefore it's not going to work, even though it would work if the timing was different. So 4 really is time, if you want to think it from 3 dimensions to 4 dimensions. And that's why step 4 is so quantum. It's like we live in 3 dimensions, and the idea that there's a 4th one is a quantum idea. There's one above our 3 dimensions. Now, of course, a lot of people think we live in a duality. We do live in a duality, but don't forget there's someone who's paying attention to those 2 options. So we actually live in a triality, and we live in 3 dimensions. And in spirituality, we're also in 3 dimensions, mind, body, and spirit at the same time. So step 4 is that quantum step that goes beyond. So step 4 is this step that wraps around consciousness and tells it where it all belongs, which is why I think it's the 11th dimension in quantum mechanics. And in quantum mechanics, step 4 is the law of attraction. So be clear on how you feel. That's the first thing. The second thing is be clear on how you want to feel next. Be clear on how you want to feel next. So if you don't file with the universe where you are and where you're going, how the hell will law of attraction map quest you there? Right? And that's what I've come to discover in my research as a spiritual, explorer here trying to decode how the matrix works. And today things will unfold. Now that brings me to today's 5 o'clock questions. Let's bring us right to the question that'll help you out. If you go out there bouncing off of other people's mealities, here's the question. What are you afraid of losing? What are you afraid of losing when you go out there bouncing? Is it your clothes? You know what I mean? Like, is it your dignity? Is it your pride? What are you afraid of losing? And the FU, the follow-up question, is what's your backup plan? And most people don't have a backup plan. That's why it's an FU question, a follow-up. Because it's like, oh, well, I want this and only this. I know, and that's why a lot of human beings don't law of attract. And I'll explain here in just a second. So for me, what am I afraid of losing? Believe it or not, I'm not afraid of losing myself, because being so much Leo energy, I'm very clear on what I am and what I want. You know what I mean? Like, I actually am afraid of losing people's interest because I have Leo energy. So I get afraid that the party with me will get bored, and then I suddenly have to law of attract something else. And so I get afraid of, I think, abandonment. That's my fear. I think that I fear of losing when I'm out there bouncing off of other people, people's interest. My backup plan, I always have a backup plan, and that's because I understand the quantum mechanics of reality. And that is that, first of all, we live in duality, so for you to have only one solution for the universe to work with is calling the universe one in a world of 2. Okay, so like you're trying to make oneness, that's God. We live in 2-ness with an observer making the 3rd. So you have to always throw out 2 spells if you want them to work. Now, some people throw out the same spell twice, but that also, I find, clogs the quantum mechanics of the law of attraction as well. Just my experience as Sensei to Serious Story, overseeing thousands of manifestations in people's lives. So I say, as a little wizard's trick, that you must truly file a backup plan that you honestly want just as much as the first one. Okay? And this is part of the second two. You got to throw 2 emotional points out there. Now, when you throw both emotional points out there, it's like, I want good or gooder, right? Like there's one you want even more, but there's one you will totally be happy with. And to me, that's what you go out there filing ahead of time to law of attract, is good or gooder, and I'll take one of these 2. And then you sit back and you wait to see what you law of attract and what you bounce off of. And when you do bounce off, you remember what your heart wants most. You don't lose yourself in the moment. You don't lose what your heart wanted. That's super uber important. Okay, that was a 9-minute lesson, so I'm going to be very quick here with logging into my guides. Okay, so today there's really, the reason I bring up quantum, make it a quantum day, is that we have 4 planets that are quantum. We have the Sun at step 22. We have Mercury at step 4. We have Jupiter at step 13, which adds to a 4. And we will have the Moon at step 22 today around 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, okay? So I will send out with text and put out on my Twitter a little thing that says, hey, this is the time Chris said things go quantum. Now, when things go totally quantum, that means people's emotions get really edgy. And usually at that time, people like, I got to go find what it is I'm looking for. So you just get really edgy. What my guide said to talk about was Mercury. Mercury's at step 4, which means, you know, our mind puts us at a scene or not. So the key to today, they're saying, is your mind. Now, we're conjuncting Black Lilith at step 5, which means our fears are right here on our shoulders as we manifest forward today. And so I just want to put out there again as Sensei Sensible advice. Fears are awesome. You know why? They are always there. You can count on them. And to me, in my own Sensei joy building, I'm like, oh, there's that fear. Awesome. I'm just going to go ahead and hook this grappling hook onto that fear. I'm just going to go ahead and bet against that fear. I use fears as negative law of attraction. I use it as a powerful tool. So you will see a lot of fear today. Great. Good old fear. Hey, Charlie. Hey, they, you know, whatever it is. That actually just helps you understand your place to jump and belong where you belong. And so today, they're saying you'll get through the day if you are mindful of where you belong and not keep your eye off that ball. Like, I belong being treated this way, I belong this or not. And, Chris, what do you mean? Well, I'll summarize it for people in my Sensei service for you today as far as what I think you're having to focus on, but probably everyone has come up with some sort of story or issue in the last few days that deals with fairness or balance or equality, or even creating art that's fair or creating message that's fair, any of this sort of thing. And so as you're going forward now, you want to just quantum leap and focus on where you belong and completely let go and forget where you don't belong and let it all fall backwards. Even in the taping of this, I don't know if it's going to come out, but like there's cars starting behind me. There's like lightning flashing. God spoken twice now. I'm just kidding. But you know, it's quantum days. Expect the unexpected. The last thing I'll say is Venus. Venus herself is at step 6 today. Step 6 is her degree. She is a step 6 girl, okay? She's a step 6 girl. She is a step 15 girl, and she is a step 24 girl, okay? She's at step 6, which is basic. Step 6 is Virgo, but, I mean, step 6 in Virgo, but it's the basic where we get basic substance. So today, you know, we're setting, wherever it is, if you say you belong, really what's happening is you're setting like where you want to feed from, where you want to take from. And that's the biggest and most important distinction. That I'm not going to take from this energy anymore. My reality is not going to have fear in it. It's not going to have that in it. It's not going to have this in it. I'm going to go quantum. I want to be over here. And so by charging your emotional fields today with those appropriate energies, you will likely find that you are law of attracted to an event or situation or moment that will help you to understand and leverage your fairness in the degrees that you need to leverage. Okay, that is perfect. Teaching you how to do spiritual somersaults today. Well, my friends, I do love you. I'd like to remind you to come on down to my website and register as a viewer. And by the way, when you watch on my website at soulgarden.tv, there is no commercial forced by YouTube. So if you want to avoid the YouTube commercial, come on down to Soul Garden. You can avoid it. It's all part of my plan to bring you out of that world. Also, don't forget to follow me on Twitter. I will put out a me-alert today regarding that Quantum 22 moment. So that's one of the benefits of following me on Twitter. That's stepº22. All right, friends, I'll be back in 24 hours when all the dust settles and we are different people. Until then, remember, I do love you. That's quantum truth. And I'll see you in 24. Remember, stay in your hearts and live, love, be.
So